Welcome back to the hottest marriage show in the universe. It's I, John D and
Kanika,
aka
Do,
and Too Much Podcast. Rescripting the culture one conversation at a time. How are you doing, my love?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for asking.
I'm glad.
Are you?
Yeah.
I thought it would be, we're going to call this After Dark.
No.
Because I feel like we're going to be adults in this episode.
Oh, okay.
We're drinking, you have to be 21 and...
Yes, sure. Oh, okay.
No, I'm just playing. I just felt like
No,
we're going to give adult answers.
Yeah, I'm not giving it. Okay.
Yeah, you giving you a warning.
Yeah, that's true. So, we're 1 weekend away from your 25-year recognition
Oh, yeah.
with your organization.
Real.
Yeah, so just wanted to officially congratulate him on 25 beautiful years.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, from my understanding, it was a beautiful fellowship with your brothers.
It was. It was. Absolutely, to say the least. To reflect on 25 years, I've grown a lot. And I can say that I was practicing some bad behaviors early in that life also. But I got to apologize to a lot of people. And they told me, thank you for, sharing my growth with people. So I appreciate forums like this where people can see how vulnerable I've become because I was making some horrible decisions in earlier life.
It's interesting when you see people, you've seen people that you might have seen in the last year, some people you haven't seen in decades.
Yes,
so
literally decades.
Yeah. So it must have been really nice though.
Yeah, it was refreshing because people wanted to talk about what we've been doing. I think that people just want to know how I got on to this specific road of enjoying this relationship we've created together. And they just had a lot of questions. So it made me feel good because I know I feel good.
Yeah. And, I think that is one of the things that you were talking about is how people were coming to you and kind of like the conversations y'all were having, they would come and have a side conversation afterward to just kind of talk about the things that intrigue them about your new stances and all those things. And it made me think about, how there was someone that I read their quote and they were talking about how, with these generations now, you don't necessarily have elders, you just have grown-ups. And there's a difference in those people who can impart wisdom and those who are just around and grown and they don't have anything to really hand down to the next generation or to be that elder to talk to. I always think about how you talk about some of your brothers and you'll say, I really like talking to him, or there are a few that she'll say, it's always good information that you all exchange. But now it seems like you're one of the older.
Oh, yeah.
So now you're an elder kind of for others to get information from.
Yeah, that's definitely been, I guess it's kind of always been like that though, but it's different now because I'm aware that I'm older now. Before I just felt like I was always like, young.
Well, and sometimes some of your wisdom you were imparting was misguided.
Completely.
So
that's what I'm saying. I was still young.
Yeah.
I never accepted accountability of the actions I was at the age I was because I was still young.
So if you reflect over growing up, who were the elders that you sought out for information?
I didn't. I didn't have that. It just depended on who was in my life at that time. I didn't seek guidance from my father because I felt like I'd already passed him. Felt like he had no idea what I was going through. So I wasn't even humble enough I wasn't even in a place where I thought anything was wrong anyway. I don't think I needed any questions answered until we got together. Before I was just out here willy nilly, but I didn't have anybody. And people could say that Well, they were there, but when somebody knows that somebody's always there, they would say it. I was not outside of my peer group. And I didn't even ask my peer group for anything because I always thought that I was probably doing a little more than they were already anyway. Mm-hmm. So there goes another ego and arrogant part. Like I just felt like I was always trying to do more. I wanted to go over and beyond in anything that had my name on it.
Mm-hmm. I don't really recall I had older adults and probably some elders with wisdom that I didn't necessarily need. Because I feel like there are elders that were older people. For example, you can be wise in something, not necessarily wise across the board.
For sure.
And what you're giving information about. So I know that there were people in my family who were wise about things that just weren't things that I needed. So I didn't have to seek any advice from them.
Do you still feel that way? Like if you like the advice you needed at that time, looking back now, was it available?
Yeah, there was. It's interesting. So when I was 13, I was trying to figure out, and it's weird to even say this, but it was just from the friends or the people that I was hanging with. I was trying to figure out why people were having sex. And I was trying to figure out why was everybody all into this stuff? There was a boy I really liked, and he wasn't necessarily asking me, but a girl, she and her boyfriend were close to him, so she was pressuring me. And I sought out information from an older cousin. She's like maybe 9 years older than me, I think. Wrong elder, like older, not elder. But at the same time, the elders that probably could have offered something to me, they felt too old. When you're younger, you feel like no one might understand. You're too old, and times are different. You don't really know, but they did. And I don't think I was ready for that information. I think that at that age, I needed an elder, but I wasn't going to trust them. I don't know what that was about. Now, I would look out for, like, if there's information. I remember recently seeking out advice from an aunt of mine. And I love her. And usually when I talk to her, it's like, how's everybody doing? How's the family? It's really, really surface level. But one day she called me and she said she needed me to come over, and she needed me to come over by myself. And I thought that was weird. So I go over there and she was like, I feel like something's not right. And I was like, no, I'm fine. And she just kept pushing. And finally I was like, well, yeah, I'm concerned about this and I'm concerned about that. And it didn't initially hit me, but she had a similar situation to me. And I remember part of it, but not all of it. And so when she started talking and she's like giving me advice, I'm like, yeah, I get that. Now she's like 80 something years old. Say I asked her something, 30 years ago. I wouldn't have been 13 trying to listen to no 50-year-old woman telling me nothing. You know what I mean?
You're hoping, honestly, just listening to you, you're hoping you can get it from your parents, because you can't get that from somebody else, because the age and the dedication of the person, the relationship, who you gonna open up to. Yeah, that's got to be tough.
All that was different. But now it's like elders I seek out. There are things that go on, and I look around to my peer group a lot. But the elder that I most often consult with is my mom. And I think that was like around the time when I became a mom. Mm-hmm. It became even more so that I would seek out her advice, not so much the generation after her, which is my great aunt that I was talking to recently. But it's just like, I don't want to be an older person in the family. I want to be an elder. I want to be somebody that people can call me and feel like they're going to get some sound information from me. I don't know what my specialty of wisdom is going to be exactly, though. I don't really know what that is. But I feel like yours as an elder is going to be about communication.
Oh, yeah, I think for sure. I think yours, is everything that you do. I think that your area is way more than whoever you're talking to.
Well, I don't want it to be because I'm older or
I'm just saying, I think that you've had an adequate amount of time to be able to say, I've seen a lot of those options, and I'm not going to say this is 100%, but it's less likely for you to make any mistakes if you go this way. I believe that if you give somebody that if they trust you, they're going to go the way that you say, because they've seen everything that you've done, what you've been a part of. They see your kids, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, she's taught, she's in public health, she's been nursing. It's like, you help people. It's not like you're going to hurt anybody. So you better try to give them the best information possible.
Yeah.
So to me, I feel like that's your expertise, is that you're going to give them the best information possible.
That's what I'll try to do. I guess I was just sitting here thinking to myself, I don't think I've ever thought of myself as going toward being an elder, but at my age, I would be considered that older person for somebody who is maybe just a little younger than Day and Dallas or something. I know they're not going to look at me as an elder because I'm their actual parent, but I don't even think I ever thought of wanting to be that. But I don't want to be the foolish adult in the family that nobody feels like they could talk to. I want to be somebody you feel like you can come to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think you have any things to worry about.
Oh, I'm not worried about it at all. I guess with you talking recently, you've been on I'm almost 50. Well, I'm almost 50. And it makes me think like we're getting up there as far as age, and our position in the family changes.
For sure.
And even in ours, like, I don't know, you tend to think people go to, family reunions and stuff like that. That's something that's common. It's not always common in every family, but you get access to these people. And even with us sitting here with this information and the idea of us transitioning into those roles in those positions in our families, there aren't any, like, the kids don't even know to find us. So then that's the other problem. I guess this is a way of being an elder and spreading it somewhere else that may not be directly to our family. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about that transition. I don't know, it makes me feel a little bit more, now I feel like the things I say, I can't just say whatever. I have to be very thoughtful.
Mindful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you, so I know that, probably getting off of it, but do you want to be the one that say whatever?
No, I don't want to be that family member. I know that there are some, and some people will be like, when I deal with them, say whatever I want to say. Or some people will be like, I ain't even going to wait for that. I'm just going to say what I want to say now. I don't want to be that person, because I feel like saying whatever you want to say is lazy. And it is lazy because you don't want to think and you don't want to consider. And it's like, you're completely oblivious to the idea that whatever you say is going to reverberate in that person and anybody else that heard you. You don't know how many times. There are things my mom says, and I'll tell people, I'll be like, my mom always told me this, my mom always told me that. And she was like, I didn't even know that was a quotable of mine. I just said it. You know what I'm saying? And so there are going to be things that you say and you're going to feel like it was just a one-off. I was just saying it because you were having this conversation. But they took that and they're like, I'm going to repeat it to other people. Because one thing my mama says, whoever you love, before you get married to them, think about what it is that really bothers you about them. And if you can still be with them, just understand that it's going to be 10 times worse when you get married, because now you're with them all the time and you ain't going to be able to just leave and do whatever you want to do. So it's not like you can buffer the things that annoy you. So she was like, whatever you don't like, it's going to be 10 times worse. If you can handle it with it being 10 times worse, then go ahead and do it. But if you don't think you can, don't do it. And I've said that to a few of my friends and they're like, yeah, it makes you think again, because you're like, yeah, because I can't run away from it once you're married and you're in the house with them. And yeah, but she doesn't realize that she says things to me and I keep repeating them to other people. But there are a number of people that get it, and they're like, oh.
It's pretty dope, like, to circle around, like you said, did I have anybody to reach out to, to get that information from? I really didn't. And maybe not into Abu Dhabi.
Mm.
I got there and I still didn't use it. And
Still didn't use it.
I did it. I don't think I really started asking people questions that could help me until I moved back here. Cause I don't want to waste people's time even then, but now like I know that people like to talk about themselves. So if you ask a question where they feel like they can really elaborate about themselves, they'll talk, you can learn all kinds of things. But I had to learn that part. But I need you to know I really didn't have anybody. You see how lost I was? I'm saying this on here. I didn't have anybody. I was too afraid to ask my father anything. You know what I'm saying? And then I went to college, and then like, who am I asking? Like, I only remember one question that I've ever asked anything like as an adult. And that was my Uncle Mike, just asking about marriage when he told me I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Like,
figure it out. That's what I'm saying.
Like, I don't think that was why I asked you though.
Yeah. And, I really didn't know how to like ask another question then. You know what I'm saying? I was like, well, I wasn't even discouraged. I was just like, oh, okay.
It must be easy.
Yeah.
So I'm about to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not easy. Newsflash.
No, I think it's easy when you have people that can explain things or why things happen. Like I feel like our kids, if they have some questions, I think we're knowledgeable enough to be able to give them information. We're like, no, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like growing up in our generation, it was like, do as I say.
Yeah.
Like, because I said so.
Then we ran around here like, I don't even know why I be doing what
like nobody told me what I was doing wrong. They just got in trouble and nobody told me what I did. Just said, don't do it again. I don't know what I did.
Oh, it's crazy. The other day, Dallas said, and he said it jokingly, but he was like, well, when I used to get in trouble, you would just whoop me with a belt. And I was like, I said, you know what, Dallas? I'm going to tell you something. I said, I literally parented based on observation. I never asked questions as to why it was happening. Mm-hmm. And all I really did was repeat the behaviors that I saw everybody else doing that I considered to be a good parent. I didn't know until I was much older that I could have done way better by just talking to you. I could have done way better by, I didn't know. And I say, but you know what? I really apologize for that. I apologize for not knowing more. Right. I apologize for not looking for more information. And it's not to say that I got a master's in social work. Them people told me don't whoop no kid. They told it, it doesn't. And then I was one of the people arguing in class and I said, I kid you not. I said, have you ever heard of Pavlov's dog? Of course they have, because we just learned it. I said, so my thing is it's the same idea. It's conditioning. It's a negative consequence for a behavior. And if they see that consequence come enough, then they're going to be like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm not going to do that because that's going to get me a whooping. But then I met Darius and Darius would be like, what I'm going to do is tweak what I did. And it makes you realize that they don't really connect what's happening exactly.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know what's going on. And later on, even in talking to the kids, I remember Darius said to us one time, he was like, just explain it to me. Now, that's not fully true.
Correct.
That we could have just explained it to him.
Well, I guess he's telling the truth. We just don't know how to explain it to him the way he's seeing it.
Yeah. But I did learn that as our kids got older, one good thing about them is they're able to really articulate their feelings. And in talking to them, you realize there was far more that we could have done with words. And we wouldn't have had to impart that on them. One thing I love is that they don't remember much about it because it stopped early on. But we've talked about it before. Yeah. To say, no, that used to be the main form of discipline. Like we were on top of it. And one of the things is from peers, I remember it used to be like, y'all's kids are so good. Like, I wish I could be more like that. I wish I could do more like that. And we were spreading the wrong message, not even knowing.
I can't agree with that part because I can say nobody reared their kids like we did.
They didn't. If they did,
there's something that we did that nobody was willing to do because we don't it's different.
Yeah, it is. I just don't know now, knowing their personality. It's their personality that makes me feel like we wouldn't have had to do that.
But I'm saying, I think the only thing that really separates from the beginning is how we gave consequences. Because like the other parents, they were a lot nicer and open-minded about like whatever it was that they wanted to do, but they weren't trying to do it like we were doing it.
But you know, one of the things about that gets me is teaching your kid. Oh, this is what it was, because Dallas was like, he drew a parallel to slavery, and you know that hit my heart. It was like, I said, I understand Dallas. So it was generational, it was just passed down, and look, that conversation was real, and and I'm not above apologizing to my kid. I don't know. There's some people who just don't feel like, I don't have to do that. No. I'm not above doing that because I feel like they're humans.
Absolutely. So we were trying to figure it out anyway. So
yeah, and if you wrong someone, you know what I'm saying?
It's only right to fix it.
It's only right to fix it. At least acknowledge it. And especially now, knowing what I know, like I have to acknowledge it, because then that feeds into who they become in the next generation. And that to me that's also spreading that wisdom, right?
Absolutely.
But anyway, I don't even know how I got there, but I am going to say that it's just reflecting now. Yes, I think our kids are going to be better for it. I think that they definitely benefit from the wisdom that we do have. I don't really know what elders I've put in their path, though, other than my mother. But I don't even know if they know to talk to her. I think we chose godparents, thinking about how they think about things and them being real, like good people of wisdom that will be able to protect them and guide them. I don't know. I guess I wonder if people really even think about that stuff. Are we at the age of thinking about that? I don't really know.
No, either. Hopefully that, like you said, like just us having this conversation, I believe that our kids do have options of having people to talk to.
Yeah.
Versus, I mean, like I said, I didn't have anybody. At least you had your mother, you believe, and an older cousin that you had, even though if it was bad. But
no, she was a wealth of information. And
that's what I'm saying. Like she everybody's not going to always get it right, but she was trying to help. Yeah. She was trying to give you the best that she knew.
Yeah.
She wasn't trying to like make you go down the bad road. Yeah. It just happened to be, it was just better information out there that she didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So hopefully our kids, if they get in those situations, they know the resources they have.
Yeah. Probably should remind them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anybody want to give a shout out before we get out of here?
No. Isn't that me all the time? No, I don't want to shout nobody out. You?
I want to give a shout out to Jordan Thornhill, 221 Sydney chapter. He passed away recently, and he was a really good guy, great guy. Had a lot of things like in his future, but I wanted to give him a shout out because sometimes we don't get messages that we're supposed to receive because it's not directly in our life. And I believe if anybody's listening to this part, there's a message in that for you also. Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action, or that action will get after you. Be great on purpose.